And then nobody can explain. It's like it's all my fault.
What?
Yeah. It's all my fault. All of that happened?
No, that's not.
No.
Child, that right there is Ray J admitting that it was his fault that Whitney Houston died. And given everything that's been coming up recently about how he may have been involved in her death and the rants he has been ranting, baby, I wonder if he meant that quite literally. Well, allegedly, one person who has the tea we have been looking for is one of the people who was closest to Whitney around the time of her death. And the person people say should have been her husband, Kevin Costner.
You weren't just good enough. You were great. You sang the whole damn song without a band. You made the picture what it was. A lot of leading men could have played my part. A lot of guys could have filled that role. But you, Whitney, I truly believe that you were the only one that could have played Rachel Marron at that time.
Also, once again, you want to know whose name is coming up with people digging about what may have happened to Whitney? Yep, Diddy. Why? Because allegedly, he's the one who did all the dirty work for the one person who has always been suspected of having a hand in Whitney's death.
And then it's Grammy time. And her and had a fight 2 days before. And from what I was told, Bobby Christina was present for some of that fight. And then the next thing you know, she's dead.
Honey, I'll get to that shortly. But first, let's have a look at what the streets have been saying about Ray. So Ray J has already been mentioned in Diddy's trial as a dealer. So people are saying that if he dealt for Diddy, it's probably true that he supplied Whitney. Add to that how he's been crashing out as of late, like how he declared in a Twitch stream that he's fleeing America for Antigua, saying, if they on my Twitch, they better come and get me now, because I'm gone. And when I'm gone, ain't no turning back.
Okay, for now, focus here for a minute. Don't worry, their drama will keep going on. Think a little about yourself too. An Indonesian scientist has uncovered a shocking truth about belly fat, and it has nothing to do with diet or exercise. 95% of people who tried this strange bedtime ritual lost 25 pounds or more. Some even dropped over 50, all while sleeping. No gym, no starving, just one simple step before bed. It sounds crazy, but it's backed by science. Tap the link in the description and see for yourself.
Sir, why the hell would you be running? Also, when somebody recently called him out for his alleged involvement with Whitney's death, Ray went on a rant saying, now I had enough. I'm about to do my final crash out for real. But this one is for my kids and for my bombs and pops and Brandy and my niece. If something happened to me, then so be it. The truth matters more in the long run. I'm talking to everybody who played with me this week and sent me threats. You know who you are. And continue to try to manipulate me just being you been paying me to be quiet. Treat me like I'm your slave and silence the truth. Well, RIO money. I don't want it no more. I'm about to activate. You really thought all this hush money you gave me would keep me quiet forever so you can pretend to be great people. Well, not anymore. It's nothing you can do, so bring on the pain. Send everybody. I'm waiting for you. And this dude on this interview quick to tear down another black man and talk about he don't know nothing about and then bring up Whitney as if I had something to do with it. Wait, what? I'm driving to set now. Stand by. Wait, what? Somebody has been paying him hush money and he's ready to spill because he's being threatened? Listen, if you ask me, the way Ray has been acting since his Diddy stuff has me wondering what is he really hiding about Whitney? I mean, it's really, really fishy. See, Ray avoided talking about Whitney after her death, but 5 years after she passed, he said he still felt guilty about what happened while speaking to Stacey Francis on Celebrity Big Brother. At the time, Ray also said that although several media outlets offered him millions to reveal secrets of Whitney's death, he turned down every single proposal. He was like, I had so many people calling me offering millions of dollars to have an interview. I was like, I don't need the money. It's not good money. That's just not right. My karma would be bad. But people have always said that the real reason he refused to do the interviews is because he knows what really happened to Whitney and would probably be caught in a lie. The thing is, Ray J was one of the last people to have a public relationship with Whitney, even though the relationship was described as on and off. Well, they never admitted to it, but they were an item. And Ray's sister Brandy even said in an interview with Wrap Up that Ray told her they were not together. She said, well, every time I ask Ray J about Whitney, he always says that's just his friend. He's not dating her, and I don't think that he would lie to me. Okay, well, it's possible that Ray lied to his sister because some of their close friends had first-hand experience of the relationship.
I go in a room, Whitney Houston taking her pants off. I walk in the room like she getting naked in Ray J room, and she like, get out of here, Youngberg. And I'm like, oh, my bad, I'm sorry. And I ran out the room.
Well, based on what the streets have been saying, Ray may know exactly what happened to Whitney. In fact, I've seen reports claiming that when Whitney died, Ray J was acting very weird, and not because he was mourning, but because he was very guilty. And let's also not forget that Leola Brown, the sister of Whitney's ex-husband Bobby Brown, made shocking claims shortly after Whitney's death that Ray J had been helping Whitney get access to substances. And she also said that for someone who was always happy to show his face around Whitney, she couldn't understand why Ray was hiding his face when she died. In her words, when I first saw this and I saw the news and I'm sorry, please excuse me, I just have to come out and say this, I saw Ray J coming out of the hotel, hiding his head, being pushed into the car. Why? I looked and I said, why is he hiding his face? He's always trying to show his face when he's around Whitney. Well, according to Leola, only one thing made sense at the time. Ray J, who was not actually dating Whitney, but was just a runner boy, was supplying Whitney with substances, and he is the one who gave Whitney a bad bag.
When I first heard she passed away, I said, my God, somebody gave her a bad bag.
Cocaine.
Yes, I promise you, that was the first thing that came out of my mouth. And then I saw Ray J, and it all added up.
But as far as how Ray J responded to the allegations, he said that he was not with Whitney on that day, and his attorney even responded to Leola Brown's accusations in a statement saying, though Leola Brown was nowhere near the Beverly Hilton Hotel on the day Whitney Houston died, CNN proceeded to broadcast an interview with Ms. Brown in which she falsely claimed that Ray J was at the hotel and contributed to Whitney Houston's death. People have also said that Ray lied about not being at the party, and one of the accounts from people who was there was that Brandy was asking for her brother at the party. I mean, why would she be asking for him if he was not there in the first place? Basically, people have said over the years, and Whitney's family knows that he knows. In fact, at the Billboard Awards, where Whitney's daughter, Bobby Christina, accepted an award on her behalf, the Houston family was reportedly displeased with Ray J's presence and attempted to have him arrested. I mean, if they wanted him arrested, it's probably because they thought he played a part in Whitney's death, right? Well, allegedly, we are finally going to be getting answers to some of the unanswered questions about Whitney's death, courtesy of one man, Kevin Costner. And just for a bit of background, their relationship goes back to 1992, when Whitney and Kevin starred opposite each other in the year's biggest romantic drama, The Bodyguard. While the movie was a huge box office success, something else that made headlines about it was obviously the connection between Whitney and Kevin. Apparently, Kevin wanted the most beautiful woman in the world for The Bodyguard, and the only person he could think of was Whitney. But it was actually a struggle to get Whitney to do the role because, one, she was black, and two, she was not an experienced actress. But regardless of how much people tried to discourage Kevin, he even thought Whitney herself had doubts about whether she could do the role or not. To Kevin, Whitney was perfect. They obviously grew close during the production of the film, and these two were so close that at the time of Whitney Houston's passing in February of 2012, Kevin released a statement saying that she was his one true love. He actually released the statement seemingly blaming himself for Whitney's death, where he said, I let her down. I should have been there and I wasn't. And now for the rest of my life, I will have to live with that pain. I saved her then. I should have saved her now. She was my one true love. I still have I Will Always Love You as my ringtone, and I count it as a badge of honor every time I get mocked for it. Speaking of Kevin considering Whitney as the love of his life, a source even told Radar Online that Kevin couldn't keep his eyes off of her when they were filming. But at the time, Whitney was set to wed Bobby Brown and shut down her romance with Kevin when the film wrapped. Kevin was also married at the time, but his marriage was already pretty rocky, which is probably why he openly said that Whitney was his one true love. Now, over the years, Kevin has spoken so much about how Whitney was dear to him and how he wished he could have saved her. For instance, while appearing on CNN, Kevin opened up to Anderson Cooper about the letters he used to write Whitney in hopes that they would get her the help she needed while battling her addictions. Kevin also later reflected on the letters that he wrote to Whitney during a sit-down with E.T., but he did say that he wasn't sure whether those letters were ever read, but he still spoke very highly of Whitney, regardless of what she was going through in the months leading up to her death.
You also wrote her some letters.
Who was it that asked you to write her the letters? And
A friend of her who realized sometimes the trouble that was happening. And look, we all have trouble. Somebody thought that whatever I might write her might have an effect on her. I don't know if it ever did or not. The myth is that you can reach into someone's life and change it.
In addition, when Whitney passed in 2012, Kevin was one of the people who gave a tribute at Whitney's funeral. And the pain in his voice was pretty evident. In fact, if you ask me, he delivered a eulogy as if he was a widower in grief. So, according to most people, if there's someone Whitney Houston opened up to about her fears, people are saying that it was Kevin. And allegedly, with all this information coming up regarding Whitney as of late, sources close to him are saying that he may actually reveal what Whitney told him before she died, and that it may implicate a lot of people in the industry, allegedly including Diddy and Ray J. Well, personally, I've not seen a lot of interactions between Diddy and Whitney online. But what I can tell you is that Whitney didn't particularly like Diddy and was wary of his influence in the music scene. Whitney was known to steer clear of what she allegedly called the Hollywood games, and many insiders say she viewed Diddy as part of the machine she was trying to distance herself from. Yet, since her death, Diddy has been seen giving tributes and speaking on her legacy as if they were close.
I know that you were the first, one of the first ones at the party to speak about Whitney's passing the other day.
Yes.
And that was, did you know her well?
Yes, I did. I actually, when I was growing up in the music industry before I had success, I somehow got on her wedding invitation. So I was at her wedding, but I didn't really know her, but it was like the hottest thing in town for the music industry, but I didn't crash the party somehow. You know, I was a hustler. I got my name on there, me plus one. I went there, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm at Whitney Houston's wedding. You know, I was a big Bobby Brown fan. And then throughout the years, I got to meet her, and she was so full of life, so full of just joy. And she always made you feel like she noticed you and recognized you and spoke to you. And she'll definitely truly be missed.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. Maybe this is his way of trying to blow the smoke away from him. But this hasn't stopped people from saying that he may have been involved in her death, especially given the allegation that Diddy possibly did all the dirty work for the person who is suspected to have had a hand in Whitney's death. And I'm talking about the one who continued his party downstairs while Whitney's corpse lay upstairs. Also, Ray J publicly showed his support for Diddy and admitted that he receives hush money. So who paid him for his silence? And why was it so important for him to be silent to begin with? Hush money means a cover-up. So Ray J knows something big, and whether he was in on it or not, he was paid to hush. Child, somebody better start speaking. And if Kevin really knows something, this may be a good time to speak up. Ray will probably reveal something soon because he's clearly crashing out. But as we wait, let me know whether you think this entire thing is connected in the comments section below.